Hello students, in last class defects or imperfections in solids completed. Continuation to the last class. Next concept is theory concept, electrical properties of solids. Electrical properties of solids. Electrical properties of solids. Based on the conductivities, all the solids are broadly classified into three types. Based on the conductivities, all the solids are classified into three types. First one is conductors. First one, conductors. And last one is insulator. Third one is insulators. Second one, middle one is semiconductors. Semiconductors. So based on the conductivities, all the known solids are broadly classified into three types: conductors, semiconductors, insulators. So conductors means the name itself gives the answer. The solids which conduct electricity at all temperatures. Semiconductors means the solids, by strictly speaking, at low temperature they do not conduct electricity. Only at high temperature only they conduct electricity in terms of temperature. Insulators, they do not conduct electricity at any type of temperatures. So conductors, one more definition: the substances whose conductivity values are very high. Simple definition: which conducts electricity. Simple definition. Conductors means which conducts electricity. That means which allows the passage of electricity. Or the substances whose conductivity values are very high, whose conductivities, about this conductivity it will comes in electrochemistry. The substances whose conductivities values are high, and the range is 10 power 4 to 10 power 7 ohm inverse meter inverse. Conductivity units ohm inverse meter inverse. So 10 power 4 to 10 power 7 value is very high. The type of solids are conductors. If any solid possesses 10 power 7 conductivity, it is a good conductor. Good conductor. Next, insulators. They do not conduct electricity. Which do not conduct electricity. Which do not conduct electricity. And they possess very low values of conductivities. And they have very low values of conductors, very high conductivities. Insulators, very low values of conductivities. Very low values of conductivities. And the range is 10 power minus 20 to 10 power minus 10 ohm inverse meter inverse. 10 power minus 20 to 10 power minus 10 ohm inverse meter inverse. Very low conductivity values. Semiconductors, their conductivity values are not very high, not very low, intermediate conductivity values. So they have intermediate range of conductivities. Intermediate range of conductivities. That is 10 power minus 6 to 10 power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse. So the type of materials are known as semiconductors. So based on the conductivities, all the solids are classified into three types: conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. Next, band theory of metals or band theory of solids. Next, band theory. That becomes in physics. Band theory of metals. Nothing but solids. So based on the band theory also we can classify the solids into three types. Previous classification is based on conductivities. Based on conductivities, if conductivity is very high, conductors. If conductivity values are very low, insulators. If conductivity values are intermediate range, semiconductors. The classification is based on conductivities. Now, based on the bands also, we can classify the solids are of three types: conductors, semiconductors, insulators. What are bands? So before discussing the bands, first of all we will discuss about band theory of metals. So for understanding purpose, I am considering the just for understanding purpose, lithium metal. It is the solid. It is the lithium metal. So in the lithium metal, so many lithium atoms are closely packed. So many lithium atoms are closely packed. N number of lithium atoms are closely packed. N number of lithium atoms are closely packed. If you are observing lithium electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s1. So this is outermost shell, valence shell. This is outermost shell, valence shell. So according to first year chemical bonding concept, in any species, valence shell electrons only participated. Valence shell electrons only involved in the bond formation. Valence shell electrons only involved in the bond formation. So if you are considering lithium atom here, 2s is the one atomic orbital. 2s is the valence shell atomic orbital. So 2s is nothing but valence shell atomic orbital. So this is the valence shell atomic orbital which contains one free electron. So in the lithium solid, n number of valence shell atomic orbitals are there. N number of valence shell atomic orbitals. So just for understanding purpose, so in the lithium solid, n number of valence shell atomic orbitals are there. This is n number of valence shell atomic orbitals. AO means atomic orbitals. So these are 2s orbitals. So one electron is present. N number of valence shell atomic orbitals are present. In first year molecular orbital theory we studied. So in case of molecular orbital theory, how molecular orbitals are formed? When atomic orbitals are combined with each other, then molecular orbitals are formed. In first year we studied when atomic orbitals are combined with each other, linear combination. When atomic orbitals are combined with each other, then molecular orbitals are formed. So here n number of atomic orbitals are linearly combined with each other. The number of atomic orbitals are linearly combined with each other. Whenever n number of atomic orbitals are linearly combined with each other, then there is a formation of n number of molecular orbitals. In first year we studied how many atomic orbitals are combined with each other. Same number of molecular orbitals are formed. Here n number of atomic orbitals are combined with each other. Therefore, n number of molecular orbitals are formed. How many are combined? Same number of molecular orbitals are formed. N number of molecular orbitals are formed like this. N number of molecular orbitals are formed. So n number of molecular orbitals are formed. So how many atomic orbitals are combined with each other? Same number of molecular orbitals are formed. Here n number of molecular orbitals are formed. In the n number of molecular orbitals, half are having lower energy and half are having higher energy. Just for understanding purpose, this I am taking as n by 2 molecular orbital. This n by 2 molecular orbitals. These are nothing but molecular orbitals. Left side atomic orbitals, right side molecular orbitals. Indirect it is bonding molecular orbital, it is anti-bonding molecular orbital. So all these n number of molecular orbitals are closely packed. So this close packing is nothing but one band. Upper molecular orbitals are also closely packed. So appears like a one band. So initially all these valence electrons are present in the lower energy band. So it is a one band. Band is nothing but close packing of molecular orbital. This is one band. This is upper band. This is lower band. So initially all these 2s electrons, 2s1 in case of 2s1, initially all the 2s valence electrons are present in lower band. Hence it is also known as valence band. Why it is known as valence band? Initially all these electrons, all these valence electrons are present in this band. That's why the name is valence band. So it is known as valence band. Why? Which contains valence electrons. So this is upper band, empty band. So this upper band is empty band. This empty band is also known as conduction band. This empty band is also known as conduction band. So this conduction band is empty because initial electrons not present in the higher orbital. Why the name as conduction band means these electrons are jumps into higher level. So these electrons flows from lower level to higher level. That electrons moves from lower level to higher level. That movement gives conduction. That movement gives conduction. Due to this band only electrons moves to higher level. Hence it gets conductivity. So that's why the name came as conduction band. Why the name came as conduction band? Because of this band electrons are flowing to higher level. That flow of electrons is nothing but conductivity. That's why due to this band conduction is arising. That's why it is known as conduction band. If this band is not there, electrons do not flow to higher level. Then they do not get conductivity. So because of this band conduction is arising. That's why it is known as conduction band. So upper band is conduction band, lower band is valence band. So this valence band is sometimes partially filled, sometimes completely filled. This valence band is partially filled valence band or completely filled valence band. Completely filled valence band. So sometimes it may be partially filled. In case of lithium, 2s1 partially filled valence band. In case of beryllium, 2s2 completely filled valence band. So lower band is valence band. Why the name came as valence band? Which holds valence electrons. That's why the name came as valence band. In some cases it may be partially filled like 2s1. In some cases it may be completely filled. That's why it may be partially or completely filled. Upper band is always empty band. That is known as conduction band. Why? Because of upper band only conduction is arising. That's why conduction band. And finally you should remember that based on band theory, two types of bands are there. How many bands? Two types of bands. Two types of bands. Namely valence band and empty conduction band or simply conduction band. So two types of band, valence band and conduction band. Just like two types of biryanis, veg biryani, chicken biryani. Just like two types of biryanis, veg biryani and chicken biryani. Here also two types of bands, valence band and conduction band. Based on these bands also, solids are classified into three types: metals or conductors, semiconductors and insulators. So in case of conductors, or metals, just I will draw the diagram. So this is valence band, this is conduction band. So this is empty conduction band, this is partially or completely filled valence band. So in case of metals or conductors, the two bands are closely packed. So the two bands are closely packed. So it is a energy level. Initially electrons are present in the valence band. So here no distance between valence band and conduction band. Hence electrons are easily jumps into the conduction band. That jumping gives conductivity. That's why in case of metals or conductors, conductivity very high because no gap between valence band and conduction band. Some cases both bands are overlap with each other. In some cases both bands are overlap with each other like this. In some cases both bands are overlap with each other. This is valence band, this is conduction band. So initially electrons are present in the valence band. Here no gap between valence band and conduction band. Hence easily electrons flows from valence band to conduction band. Because of that easy flow of electrons, they get conductivity. So in case of metals, nothing but conductors. So in case of metals or conductors, there is no gap between valence band and conduction band. That's why electrons easily flows from lower level to higher level. Whereas in case of insulators, whereas this is conduction band. Whereas in case of insulators, large gap is there. So this is valence band, this is conduction band, empty conduction band. In case of insulators, there is a large gap between filled valence band or partially filled, whatever it may be. Initially electrons are present in the filled valence band. Again I am repeating. Why the name given as valence band? This band consists of valence electron, hence the name given as valence band. Initially electrons are present in the valence band. Now between valence band and conduction band distance is very high. That's why electrons cannot jump into conduction band. Why? There is a large gap. That's why they do not conduct electricity. Hence this is insulator. This is in terms of insulators. So in case of insulator there is a large gap. So this is large energy gap. It is also known as forbidden zone. Why the name given as forbidden zone? This zone or area forbids the electron from valence band to conduction band. Forbidden means stops. In case of semiconductors, the gap is not too small, not too large. So that is intermediate gap. So in case of insulators, here no gap, here large gap, here a small gap. So this is conduction band, this is valence band. This is in case of semiconductors. So in case of semiconductors, small energy gap, which is lies between conductors and insulators. Just you should remember that in case of conductors, no gap between valence band and conduction band. In case of insulators, large gap between valence band and conduction band. In case of semiconductors, small energy gap between valence band and conduction band. So initially electrons are present in the valence band. At low temperature, they do not conduct electricity. Why? Here a small gap is there. If you are supplying heat energy, that means at high temperature, if you are supplying heat energy, the electron absorbs heat energy and jumps into conduction band. So if you are supplying heat energy, electron easily jumps into conduction band because of small energy in our syllabus about semiconductors concepts are there. So in our syllabus semiconductors concept is there. Next, semiconductors. Next concept is semiconductors. Easy only. Semiconductors. So what are semiconductors? So the substances which conduct electricity at high temperature and which are insulators at low temperature are in terms of conductivities. The substances whose conductivity values are lies between conductors and insulators. Anyhow, definition not important. Otherwise, just you should remember that the substances which are insulators at low temperature and conductors at high temperature are the substances which are having intermediate range of conductivity values, that is 10 power minus 6 to 10 power 4 ohm inverse meter inverse. Already we discussed semiconductors. Semiconductors are broadly classified into two types. Semiconductors are broadly classified into two types. First one, intrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors. Semiconductors are of two types. First one, intrinsic semiconductors. Second one, extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors and second one, extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors means the name itself gives the answer. The semiconductors itself conduct electricity. The substance itself conduct electricity without addition of any other foreign substances. So itself conduct electricity. Itself conducts electricity. The substance itself conduct electricity at high temperature. The substance itself conduct electricity at high temperature. The type of substance is known as intrinsic semiconductors. So in case of intrinsic semiconductor, the foreign substance, so-called impurity, there is no need to add. So itself conduct electricity. Example: pure silicon and pure germanium. Pure silicon and pure germanium. So actually silicon and germanium are semiconductors. Pure silicon and pure germanium comes under intrinsic semiconductors. Why? Themselves conduct electricity at high temperature. So just for understanding purpose, I will draw a small diagram. Pure silicon and germanium, how it conduct electricity. Now I am considering pure silicon. Silicon 4th group. Therefore, each silicon is bonded with 4 other silicons. So silicon valence shell contains 4 electrons. Therefore, each silicon is bonded with 4 other silicons. Each silicon is bonded with 4 other silicons. So at low temperature, all electrons are involved in the bond formation. So at low temperature, there is no free electron. At low temperature, there is no free electron. Hence, at low temperature, they act as insulators. They do not conduct electricity. According to basic concepts of physics, what type of substance conduct electricity? The substance which contains either free electrons or free ions or holes. So the type of substance conduct electricity. At low temperature, all electrons are involved in the bond formation. Hence, no free electrons, hence they do not conduct electricity. That's the insulator. Whenever, if you are providing high temperature, whenever it is strongly heated, then what happens? Some of the bonds are broken. If you are strongly heated, some of the bonds are broken. Then there is a availability of free electrons. Therefore, at high temperature, there is a availability of free electrons. At high temperature, there is a availability of free electrons because some bonds are broken. Hence, it conducts electricity. Therefore, pure silicon and pure germanium at low temperature they do not conduct electricity. At high temperature only they conduct electricity. That's why pure silicon and germanium known as intrinsic semiconductors. they conduct electricity by the addition of extra substance, so called impurities. That's why the name came as extrinsic. They conduct electricity by the addition of extra substances known as impurities. They conduct electricity by the addition of impurities. The process of addition of impurities known as doping. So doping is the process of addition of impurities. They conduct electricity by the addition of impurities. That means these type of substance conducts electricity in the presence of external substance. That's why the name came as extrinsic semiconductors. Example: impure silicon and impure germanium. Impure silicon and impure germanium. Pure silicon and pure germanium intrinsic. Impure silicon and impure germanium extrinsic semiconductors. Now, based on the addition of impurity, again extrinsic semiconductors two types: p-type semiconductors and n-type semiconductors. So in our syllabus, extrinsic semiconductors only there. So types of extrinsic semiconductors. Types of extrinsic semiconductors. Types of extrinsic semiconductors. So based on the addition of impurity, extrinsic semiconductors are of two types. So based on the addition of impurity, extrinsic semiconductors are of two types. First one, p-type semiconductors. P-type semiconductors. Second one, n-type semiconductors. P-type semiconductors, second one, n-type semiconductors. One by one we will discuss. First one, p-type semiconductors. Important types of semiconductors, very important, especially for objective exam. Easy only, complete concept. P-type semiconductors. P-type semiconductors. P stands for positive. P stands for positive. What is the meaning of positive? Last time we discussed. So first of all, you should remember that p-type and n-type semiconductors are formed by the addition of impurities to the pure silicon and germanium. Now, to the pure silicon or germanium, if you are adding trivalent impurities, electron deficient impurities. Electron deficient. Trivalent impurity means valence shell contain 3 electrons. Electron deficient impurities are 13th group elements, different names. 13th group elements are 38 group elements. 38 group is trivalent. 38 group elements. 13 group elements are 38 group elements like boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. So whenever to the pure silicon or germanium, if trivalent impurities in all these elements, outermost shell contain 3 electrons. If you are considering boron, electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Therefore, outermost shell contain how many electrons? 3 electrons. That's why trivalent impurity or electron deficient impurity or 13 group elements are 38 group elements. So what are 38 group elements? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Otherwise,